Hello friends, it's Claire Daly, Stampin' Up demonstrator from Melbourne, Australia. Happy New Year! This is my first video for 2025, which is exciting. So I've had a lovely break over Christmas. I went and visited my sister and extended family in Western Australia. So I live in Victoria in Australia, so interstate. That was for 10 days, and then I had some more time off when I got home. Been to the tennis, been relaxing, did a massive declutter in the house. Yeah, so I'm ready to get back into things for 2025. And what better way to get started than this beautiful mixed media florals suite. So I wanted to show you the bits and pieces that are in this suite, and then I will we'll be making a card. And then I'll show you some additional cards I've made with this suite, which is just beautiful. I can't stop playing with it. So let's have a look what's in it. So there's actually a bundle, and we might look at the bundle afterwards actually, because the thing that drew me to this suite is the paper, and I think that's the same with lots of the demonstrators. So it's a 12 by 12 paper pack. You get two each of the sheets that I'm showing. So we've got this one here and this on the back. So the colours in here are Daffodil Delight, you've got Boho Blue, Calypso Coral, Mossy Meadow in this one. And then you've got some Flirty Flamingo and some Poppy Parade. So show you that one, and then this one here, some Petal Pink. We've got some Granny Apple Green and Old Olive. They're the colours that are listed on here. I think there's a bit of Garden Green in there, or maybe even Shaded Spruce, the colouring of this one. You'll see when we get to the last card, or with the card that I'm watercolouring, that it's a little bit of a blue-green there. So that's that piece. So you get two of each of these 12 by 12 sheets in the pack. This beautiful one here. So I love the combination of these colours with the black and white. And that's definitely what I like, the black outlines on these, and that's what definitely drew me, I think. And then there's some great black and white patterns that you can also use. And I think they're really great contrasts when you're using this busy paper. There, and then we've got this one here, and of course you can colour those in as well, which will be great. And that's the reverse of that one, and this beautiful sheet here. They've used Boho Blue, Calypso Coral and Old Olive. And then on the back of this one is this gorgeous black and white, which I really love. And then this is the last sheet that you get two of, and on the back of this one is the green. Okay, so that's the 12 by 12 paper, and as I mentioned, you get two of each of those. There's also a stamp set, and the stamp set has got an image with tulips in here, which you'll find on the papers as well. So you'll see this tulip image floating around, and it also has an image with this coneflower, which you'll also see that one floating around, and a couple of other images too. So that's really pretty, and we're going to be watercolouring this one here, and I'll show you some cards I've made with this one. In addition to that, you can also get a Memories and More pack. So Memories and More, you get 6 by 4 inch cards, you get 3 by 4 inch cards, which are smaller patterns of these. The little bits here are because I've already used some of these on cards, but you get lots of different cards you can use for memory keeping, or you can also use these for making cards. So they're very useful. You can see the patterns are smaller, so that is a reduced size pattern of that one there. And they're double-sided, so you get lots of different designs. So they're the 3 by 4 inch ones. Isn't that gorgeous? Just need a sentiment and to put that on another piece of paper, and you're done. So they're really pretty, and then you get these 3 by 4 inch ones as well. So this one I've cut up and used almost like washi tape. You are loved. So these are great for both memory keeping and for card making. That's that one. Okay, there's this one. It's really pretty. This one. Now the other thing that you get with these is you get these sticker sheets. So they have sentiments. So I'll show you the full one of those. So this one here, you get two of two different sheets. So this one, just a note to let you know I'm thinking of you, happy birthday. I've used both of those in cards already, celebrate, and you get the images. And then you get this one here as well, which has got some additional things which you might use in memory keeping or you might use on cards. So that's the Memories and More pack, which is $20. The DSP is $21.75. And there's also an embellishment pack, which is here. Now the paper, the Memories and More pack is in the mini catalogue, and the paper and the embellishments and the stamp set or the bundle, they are all in the online exclusives. So all of the links will be below, but it's a little bit confusing. And the whole suite, I'll link to the whole suite, which has got everything in it. It's the easiest way to find everything. And these are called low profile dots, which is, and it's almost like a petal pink with a little bit more pink in it, sort of a cross between petal pink and flirty flamingo and gold, these dots to use with that paper. As you can see, they look great. And then we have the stamp set and coordinating dies. I didn't get the dies because I find that I will probably stamp these directly on to watercolor paper or paper and just use them that way for colouring. But the images are absolutely beautiful. Both of these flowers, tulips and coneflowers, two of my favourite flowers, but they're just really nicely sized. They're actually larger than they show there. So here is the tulip one, and here is the coneflower one. So they're actually quite large images, and they're great for watercolouring for that purpose. And they are also really great for focal points on the cards, which you will see as we go through the video. So I've made, I'm making a video live, making a card live in this video, and then I've got another 5 cards to show you, which I've made with this suite. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. And yeah, and this is a suite that you will consider purchasing. So we're going to go on and make the card now. Before we do that, please consider subscribing to my channel and also clicking that little bell, because that little bell will tell you, it will alert you then when I put out a new video. Most weeks I aim to do a video, but sometimes life gets in the way, so it's good to know when my videos come out, and that's the best way to find out. Or the other great way to find out anything that I'm doing, of course, is to subscribe to my newsletter. So measurements of cards. So the last couple of weeks I've included 3 projects that you can make at home. So I've included pictures and measurements and supplies, so you can make them at home. And yeah, so if you're wanting to get lots of different ideas, even if you want to substitute supplies that you've got, subscribing to my newsletter is a great way to do that. So let's get stuck in and show you some of the cards. Okay, let's get started watercolouring this image. So we are going to be using the tulip image, and because I'm watercolouring, so I'm using my water painter. Don't worry that that's a little bit stained, that's fine, as long as the colour doesn't come off, which it does a bit, so we'll rinse that out. As long as the colour doesn't come off when you are brushing onto either a piece of tissue or a rag, then, or some scrap paper, then that's totally fine. So we're going to be using a water painter. I've got a little tub of water. That's how I prefer to use my water painter. And I've got my stamp mounted here, and because we're using water, we will be stamping in StazOn. So let's do that. Now you want to get a good coverage of your StazOn. Now I want to cover the whole thing, so there, and then we'll do it again. So this is just a piece of basic white. You can, of course, use watercolor paper, and normally I would do that. The reason I'm not doing it here is because, how am I going to do this? I think we might do it like that, and then I might put the greeting down the bottom. So the reason that we're not using watercolor paper is because I'm using pattern paper that's got white in it, and I find when you then combine them on a card, sometimes the colors clash for me. It's just a personal thing. The other thing to note here is I'm not going to use the whole depth of the card, so I might actually cut off what I don't need now. So I just cut that off, which has cut off most of that bit anyway, because I want it to go in the middle of the card. And I'm going to, so my base card is Granny Apple Green. Normally this would be one piece of designer series paper. The reason it's got a little gap in there is because I made a mistake when I was cutting. So I normally make it 3 millimeters either side. Sorry, 3 millimeters all up. So the normal width of a card in metric is 10.5 centimeters. So when I cut my layers, I do them 10.2 centimeters, and it's 14.85. So I'll make it 14.55. It was my first card of the day. I think I just messed the measurements up, but that's okay because that bit's going to be covered anyway. I just did it in 2 bits, so I didn't waste the paper. So it's got some lovely colours in here. There's Flirty Flamingo, there's some Poppy Parade, Granny Apple Green, and some other darker colours. It says Mossy Meadow, but I actually prefer to use, I think, Old Olive, and this is Boho Blue, and I might use the Boho Blue for those flowers. Now I have got Old Olive, and I just need to get Granny Apple Green. Okay, so I think I will start with the flowers. So I want to show you how easy it is to watercolor with your ink pad. So it's just a matter of opening the ink pad. Now I can see there's already some on there from when I was colouring yesterday. We don't want to close that up. And so it's just a matter, I find if you lean that on another ink pad, it stays open. It's just a matter of using the water that accumulates, and if there's none there, which there won't be in some of the others, so I'll show you how to accumulate that. Now I'm going to do a lightish layer to start with. This one is Flirty Flamingo, so we will be doing the flowers. Now the thing I love about this image too, and using it with this pattern paper, is it's really rough watercolouring, really watery. Doesn't matter, it's not perfect. And so if you make some mistakes, it actually enhances it, I think. In fact, I think it's better not to colour all of the image. You'll notice that isn't in the papers. So I think, you know, being a bit just slap it on is actually a really good thing when you're colouring with these images. And I think, A, that's what I love about them, but B, I just really love bulbs, and I just think it's a really pretty image and great size to watercolour as well. So that's another thing that attracted me. So I've done my first layer of the flowers there in Flirty Flamingo. So once you've finished with your ink pad in one colour, and I think I might come back to it, we will see, then just wipe out any really watery bit in the ink pad, because otherwise when you close it you might find that it dilutes the ink if you want to stamp an image in the future. So we don't want that to happen. So we're finished with that. The next one I'm going to get out here is Poppy Parade. So we'll see if there's any of that one. So there's only a tiny bit of that there. So the best thing to do is when it's closed, you press really hard in the center. If you find that doesn't work, and sometimes it doesn't, if the ink pad needs re-inking, it did in this case, the other thing you can do is just pop it on the ground and press gently with the heel of your foot in the center. Don't get too carried away. You can find that's enough to get this accumulation of ink here, which is all that we need. So this becomes our palette. Now this is Poppy Parade, which is also, so we're just going to add a bit of extra Poppy Parade in here. Now, Poppy Parade's lovely colour here. Just to blend those colours in a little bit more. So it blends much better on watercolour paper, but for the style of card that we're making here, honestly, this is totally fine, and I think actually really suits the style of card that we're making. So we'll just blend that out a little bit more. So all I'm doing there is just dipping it in the water and just blending those colours a little bit more. And then when I go to apply the ink, I'll dip that in. So just applying a bit more colour as a bit of a highlight. So as I said before, I love this messy style of watercolouring. This is definitely my style. Now, if you're interested in watercolouring with watercolour pencils, a previous video I did using the Nature's Kindness kit, Nature's Paintings kit, sorry, that came out late last year, shows you how to use watercolour pencils if you're interested in colouring with those. So that's another really low-cost option, because you get lots of different colours for a really good price. Whereas I find this is really great too, because I mean you've already got the ink pad, so you're just using them in a different medium, which extends their versatility, which I think is great. So the next bit, we're finished with that. So what we're going to do is just pop that one away. The next one I think I might do is Granny Apple Green. This one's going to be a little bit brighter than some of the other cards. So there we don't have any. So we're going to close it up. There we go. That was easy. Feeling strong today. Sometimes it's a little bit hard depending on whether or not your ink pad needs re-inking. So you want it to be quite watery. We can add some highlights later if we need. So I'm going to be starting on these. Stems and into these leaves. Go around there because I want to put that one in a different colour. So yeah, we'll add a little bit of extra colour to that, a little bit darker in some spots, but it's nice and bright, granny apple green. I really like that colour. I need to get sometimes a bit more adventurous with the bright colours. So we need a little bit more water in there. Sometimes I need to look a bit closer here to see what's happening. It almost looks a bit shaded sprucey actually in that paper, even though that's not one of the colours. So I might even pop a bit of that on, but Old Olive would have been fine. I've used that in the other images, including one that I used with this paper. So now it doesn't matter if you go a little bit outside the lines. As I said, if you look at the pattern paper, very much so, look outside the lines. So it's suiting the style of what you're doing. And now I can't remember where I was colouring. Here we go, we'll start this one anyway. So this is a real light blue green, this one. A really bright bluish green. That's why I'm thinking that that the shaded spruce might look good. Not quite sure what's going on here. I think it's like that. We'll make it that anyway. And the same, that it. And just a couple of... Now where it's just a stem, often I will still put some on there, here. And the same here. I might do this one upside down so I don't smudge. So this is the medium water painter. When you buy the water painters, you get 3 in a pack. You get the medium, you get the fine, and you could have used the fine for this, but I already had this one out, so that's fine. Oh, that's fine. Excuse the pun. I already had this one out, so I'm going to be using that. All right, so that's our granny apple green layer done. And what I'm going to do now is get, even though I had Old Olive, I think I'm going to get shaded spruce. So shaded spruce is a much more of a blue-green, and I won't want to put very much of this on. And I'm going to test it on a piece of paper first. This is one that I might need to stand up with my heel lightly. So I didn't actually stand on it, I just popped it on the ground and popped my heel on it a couple of times. So I'm going to just do a little bit of granny apple green on here, and just to do a bit of a double check that this colour is going to be okay. So I want it really, really watery because I don't want a lot of colour. Let's try Old Olive on the other end and we'll see how we go. Maybe Old Olive is going to be my pick. Somewhere in between, you know, isn't it? But I'm not going to the trouble of doing both of them. So I think I'm going to go, I mean, you could go with either, but I think I'm going to go with the Old Olive. That's just a little bit too blue for me. But really, you could go with either Shaded Spruce or Old Olive, just to add a bit of contrast in the leaves. So for that, I'm just adding a little bit in some of the spots down towards the bottom here. And again, it's really pretty much slap it on. I know there'll be some people totally freaking out at the way I'm watercolouring, but hey, this is my way, and I think it looks okay in the end. So really what you're doing is just adding a bit of interest with a second colour. You can pop a little bit in some of these top tips if you wanted. And maybe, you know, where this line is, you could highlight that a little bit. But I'm pretty happy with that. Doesn't perfectly match the background, but I'm still happy because that's going to be on some of the black and white paper anyway. Okay, so the only other colour I've got left to do with those little flowers. Now what I think I might do those, because I could either do those in just Flirty Flamingo, or I could do those, I'm going to do in Boho Blue. I think that looks cute in Boho Blue. So let's do that. Now there's a little bit there. These are super easy. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, I think it looks better if it's not perfect on this type of image, going on this paper. Once it's dried a bit as well, whoops, went over the line a bit there. I mean, if you go over the line, what you can do is you can use a bit of water to get that off. But the other thing is just don't stress, because like I said, this isn't meant to be perfect. So once your colour dries, you can get a bit of an assessment too, whether or not you want to, if you're happy with the depth of colour. Sometimes you will get there and think, might put a little bit more colour on, like I'm thinking with the Poppy Parade, I might add a little bit more Poppy Parade just to brighten it up a bit. And I might do some of this darker one. just doing here. And I'll just blend those out a little bit more. Okay, I'm happy with that. Just adds a bit more depth to the colour. So where did my, pop that one in the big one. There we go. So next we let that dry completely, and when that's dry we will mount it onto the other piece of pattern paper. So I've got a black piece, and I'm going to I need to cut the width down as well, so I might go that way to cut the width down, and then we're going to mount it on a piece of the garden green, granny apple green, sorry, and then we're going to pop it onto there. Okay, so our width needs to be 10.2, 0.12. Oops, make sure that's back in view correctly. 10.2 centimeters. Excuse me. And we'll cut that. See, because I didn't let it completely dry. And then I think this is already cut to size. Yes, it is. So then we need to we're going to pop it onto a piece granny apple green cardstock. Now I'm not going to have any outside edges on this one, so I'm going to do it right to the edge of one, then I'll cut that other one off in a moment. So we're just putting it on a thin piece of that, just to, so that it shows up a little bit more when we put it on the green, onto the black and white paper. And then we'll just cut this one completely off the side. Okay. So now I'm just going to want a little bit at the top and about there, and then we'll cut it about there on the bottom a little bit. Yeah, probably like that. Maybe I should do it the right way up. No, it won't. eyeballing that, but I'll give you the measurements for all of these cards either in my subscriber newsletter, so make sure you subscribe down using in the link in the comments, or the other place. If you don't want to subscribe, eventually these will go onto my blog, and you'll be able to get the measurements there as well. So yeah, I think that's going to be fine, so I'll pop that one on. As it turned out, I probably could have used half of those, but I wasn't sure how big I was going to cut my image. So now for the sentiment here, I mean, there's so many different things you can do, but I want to show you these super cool. Now these, when you're feeling a little bit, not lazy, but when you, say if you're traveling and you only had a few supplies with you, these are really great to take because it's one of the ephemera packs. Let me find the front of my catalogue and then I'll be able to show you. Here we go. So in the new mini catalogue, one of the new ephemera packs, which is the quick and easy options, down the bottom here, greeting for all's mix and match sentiments. These you get 4 sheets of black on white, so you get 6 different sheets, 2 of each one shown. So there's 4, which is black printing on white, and then there's 2, which is white printing on black. Now, because we're using that black and white, they actually will work really well on here. I actually really like this one here, Sending Sunshine. There's something about those flowers that that actually feel sunshiny to me. So I'm going to use that one. So what I might do is get some linen thread. Excuse me for a tick. So I've got some linen thread, and what I'm going to do is do a double bow in this, which would require me having my scissors. Here we are. So we'll see how this goes when I make it, whether I use it underneath the bow or near it. Just to add an extra bit of something down there. I could do it up the top, or I could not do it at all. Maybe because it's so busy I might not do it at all, actually. Yeah, I think I'm not going to do it at all. So I'm just going to pop this up on some dimensionals. And I'm going to do it so it's about the sunshine bits on the black, and that's it goes over that greeting, over that line, sorry. And let's have a look what we've got in the way of sentiments. So the sentiments that coordinate this suite with this suite are these ones here, which are called low profile dots. So they work pretty well, or we could use the gold. Actually, the gold looked really nice. Might use the gold. Okay, so I think I'll put one down the bottom. Yesterday I was crafting in front of the tennis, and I have temporarily misplaced my take a pic tool, so I'm going to use my scissors to do this. easier to do with my take a pick tool. That one there, I think we'll pop one there, and then we'll pop another up here. Might just pop a little one down up there, or down up there. A little one down there. And then I might do a little one up there too. So as I mentioned, each week in my newsletter, I send out some project ideas, and they will have measurements and any tips if there's anything that you need to do specifically. So all of the measurements for the cards that I'm going to show, that's just pulled off the fibre a little bit there. Any of the cards that I show today, the measurements of all of those will be in my newsletter, and also on my blog at some stage in the future. They go out to my newsletter subscribers first, so my VIP customers that purchase from me will get 3, and some weeks I send all of them out to subscribers. Some weeks I might only send 1 or 2, but that's the best way to get the tutorials or the detailed measurements of my projects. So anyone anywhere in the world can subscribe. Just down below is the subscribe button, and yeah, that's how you can get more details. So let me give you some more detail of the cards that I made previously. So this is the one we've just completed, which I mentioned, Flirty Flamingo and Poppy Parade on the flowers, and then on the leaves we've used Granny Apple Green and Old Olive, and then we've used Boho Blue for the flowers, and we used those sentiments for that one, which out of here, which are $12.95 for a pack of 6, and they are called, they're on page 13 of the new mini, and they are called Greetings for All Mix and Match Ephemera Pack. So I'll link those down below. So I'll pop them there. This one here, I've used another stamp set, which I'm absolutely loving out of the online exclusives. It's called Spring Corners. So it's got all of these really cool corners that you can use, which have got some sentiments and stuff in there as well. So I've used this wishing you an amazing day, and I have embossed that in white. And then I've embossed the happy birthday in white onto Boho Blue. So that's where my sentiments came from. For this one, I have used the same colours, except I just used Old Olive. On here, I have used I've used Petal Pink, and then I used my my early espresso marker to actually pop a few more dots in there as well. And then Boho Blue again on the flowers, and I said Old Olive, and that's actually the same paper that I've used in this one here as well. So just a different look on those. So that's that one. This one here, I have used I have watercoloured. Now I've used another piece of the paper from the Mixed Media Florals Designer Series paper pack, and then I have watercoloured using the similar colours and just cut around the outside. The stamp set actually comes with some coordinating dies, but I chose not to get those because most of the time I'll be stamping directly onto the card, but this time I thought I would just do that. So I watercoloured in much the same colours that are on here. I've used really light crushed curry, Calypso Coral for the flowers, and Old Olive, and then I've used some Boho Blue on the background, and I've just cut around that. I've used another one of the sentiments from the Greetings from All Ephemera pack there, and just pop some colours underneath that to highlight it. Now this delightful heart is from the Celebration heart-shaped bundle, which you can get free gifts when you shop at the moment. because Celebration is on. So this is one of the level 2 gifts. So if you place a $200 order, you can get that bundle for free. And just let me grab it so I can show you how cool it is. Here we go. So here is the heart-shaped bundle, the stamp set. So you get this gorgeous heart-shaped stamped as well. Some lovely sentiments. And then you get these awesome dies as well that cut out some of the sentiments, and then that cut out various shapes and some additional, this one cuts out the flowers, and some additional shapes that you can use for embellishing. So that bundle is actually free with a $200 order in January and February. So it's called the Heart Shape Bundle. So I'll link the Celebration down below, so you can just click on that and it'll take you to all of the Celebration choices you can earn for free. So there's a heap of things you can choose for a $100 order. I think there's 11 or 12, and there's 2 different things you can choose for a $200 order. So have a look at those, because it's good to get extras. So let's keep going through the stamps, through the cards that I've made with this suite. This one here I have made using some of the Designer Series paper, and this one here is one of the Memories and More cards that coordinate with this suite. This sentiment came with the Memories and More cards, how you get stickers with sentiments and various bits and pieces in. So both of those bits came out of that. And then just some of the sequins. These are actually from the purple adhesive back sequins. They're actually more pink than purple, some of them. And that's actually one of the Celebration gifts as well. And just a little bit of white twine on that one. And it's a boho blue background card. This one here is also a, I'm using the, I've used a piece of the background paper, and then I've used a couple of the cards here to cut up with my punch. This is a 2-inch punch and a 2 1/4 inch punch. And then this is one of the stickers that came with the Memories and More packs as well. So these cards are the 3x4 Memories and More cards. So that's another good addition, and at a really reasonable price as well. They are, I'll show you those in the catalogue. Now it's a bit strange in that the Memories and More cards are in the catalogue, I think, but the paper, or maybe they're not. Maybe it's all online exclusives. Actually, I think it, oh no, here we go. So the Memories and More cards are in the catalogue, but the paper and the stamp set and the bundle is in the online exclusives. So yeah, you want to have a look in both places. So here you see the Memories and More Mixed Media Florals Memories and More cards. So $20, and you get 50 double-sided cards and 4 sticker sheets as well. So they're a really good addition to, you can do some memory keeping, or you can also use them on cards as well. And there's some card ideas. The other thing I want to point out in the catalogue is down here on page, here we go, page 12. There's a heap of card layout ideas that you can use as well. So that's really handy for cards and tags. If you're thinking, what's a good idea to start to get my creativity flowing today? So there's those. Yeah, so that's that one. And the last one, which I think might be my favourite, is this birthday card. So I've used that same tulip image that we used here, but I've stamped it twice and made it closer to the base of the basic white piece that I stamped onto. And I have used, excuse me, Pretty in Pink and Old Olive and Boho Blue for my colouring on that one. And that happy birthday stamp is from the Spring Corners as well. Down here, I really like that typewriter type. I'll be using that Happy Birthday a lot. Even this one here, I love that, just either side. And there's some cute little bits and pieces there you can use. Again, this has a coordinating die set, but I felt that I wouldn't use that very often, so I just got the stamp set. Much more affordable. And yeah, I knew that I would definitely use those sentiments. So, oops, where's the other one? I've used this one here. I really love that stamp set, so I will link to that below as well. So I hope you have enjoyed these cards made using the Mixed Media Floral Suite. There's 6 different card ideas and showing you how easy it is to watercolor using your ink pads, which you already have. So if you don't have the water painters, you can find those in the annual catalogue, or you can find those using the index or on my online store. As I mentioned, they come in a pack of 3. You get a really wide one for water washes, a really fine one, and this one here as well. So I definitely recommend those. Yeah, and if you don't have black stays on, you'll need that as well, because you need a solvent-based ink pad when you're using watercolouring with water. And if you're colouring with Stampin' blends, you need a water-based ink pad, which is the Memento black. So you'll need that stays on if you're wanting to do these techniques. So thanks very much for watching today. Please subscribe to my channel because I look forward to bringing you more videos in 2025, and I hope you have a great week. Thanks for watching.